How COVID-19 works in the body. The coronavirus is named after the crown-like spikes that protrude from its surface. The virus is enveloped in a bubble of oily lipid molecules, which fall apart upon contact with soap. The virus enters the body and attaches to the ACE2 cells, which line the nose, throat, and lungs. Once inside the lungs, the virus infects the blood vessels and attaches to endothelial cells. This is different from other viruses because they do not affect those endothelial cells. The virus then goes into the cell's membrane where it releases part of its genetic RNA into the cell. As the virus in the cell continues to take control, the cell begins to churn out new spikes and other proteins that will form more copies of the coronavirus. Each infected cell can release millions of copies of the virus before the cell finally breaks down and dies. The viruses may infect nearby cells or end up in droplets that escape in the lungs. Effects of COVID-19 on the body. One of the largest problems with COVID and why it is so destructive compared to other viruses is that it can infect the endothelial cells. COVID-19 contains a special protein that allows it to infect endothelial cells, which are found all over the body. That's why COVID has been causing not only respiratory issues, but a multitude of problems in the body. But the virus still enters through the lungs before spreading to the body. Once the virus is inside the lungs, it starts to infect lung tissue and infects the alveoli, which is how the virus enters to the bloodstream. Now that the virus is inside the blood vessels, it spreads to the endothelial cells that line those blood vessels. This causes the virus to spread to the endothelial cells all over the body. As the body begins to fight the virus in the lung tissues, the alveoli will fill up with liquid from the inflammation and capillary damage from COVID and the immune response. This fluid causes oxygenated blood to not be able to transfer into the body and deoxygenated blood to not be able to transfer out. Next, the heart is at a great risk during the COVID infect and recovery period. Firstly, the heart needs to work extra hard to get enough O2 in the blood since the alveoli are filled with fluid. Next, the virus can spread to the heart muscle like it does in the lungs and can damage the muscle around the heart. Since COVID is a special virus that affects the endothelial cells, those endothelial cells are responsible for many functions, but one of those is blood clot formation regulation, which leads to an increase of blood clots in the body as the virus attaches to those cells and alters the function of them. These blood clots force the body to rearrange the blood vessels. All of these COVID effects, lung damage, heart inflammation, and blood clots cause an extensive amount of pressure on the heart, which leads to long-term symptoms. Most everyone knows someone in their life who has gotten COVID. Hopefully those people have recovered, but some people who were infected are still suffering even after a year. These people have been nicknamed COVID long haulers. A study by the Journal of the American Medical Association estimated that 10% of COVID-19 patients become long haulers. Unfortunately, scientists do not know why people become long haulers. One theory is that the virus remains in their bodies in a small form. This is a plausible theory as some patients in the US and Britain have reported elevated symptoms after receiving a second dose of the vaccine. Another theory is that their immune system will continue to overreact to the virus. The most common symptoms are fatigue, shortness of breath, joint pain, chest pain, with other somewhat common symptoms being brain fog, depression, fast beating or pounding heart or heart palpitations, headaches, and muscle pain. One of my family friends got COVID last March and still today has COVID symptoms, so she's a long hauler. Her symptoms are most prominently with her heart. She has myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart and irregular heartbeat. And she explained to me how COVID is very much still affecting her life now. She even said the other day she was running up the stairs really quickly to grab something, and her heart was racing out of control, and she had to sit down and catch her breath, just running upstairs really quickly. And a piece of hope that hopefully these people will be cured is that a hospital section dedicated to COVID long haulers has been established at Northwestern, and my friend has been going there, so hopefully things will work out in the end.